Hello, cuties. Oh, that's nice that my camera did that. That's right, it's me. And I literally had a last-minute technical crash. So I had to reset literally everything, even though I spent like half an hour making sure everything was fine-tuned and working well. And then I had to do an emergency restart. And it reset a lot of stuff, so hopefully it's not going to be too big a deal. Oh no, failing headphones. And it was a display thing, too. I literally was like, okay, we're going live, my timer's working, I'm just going to move OBS from this monitor to the other. And it crashed one of my display ports. Ooh, that's not good. I've had to fix it before, it just totally caught me off guard this time. Let's see, I think I'll go with this exposure. Sorry, I'm since we have time, I'm tiddling with my webcam to make it not quite so glaringly bright. Yeah, definitely the shirt for the time. Well, I see Wolf and I see B-Wills. It looks like I see Loose there. I see Zombie. Hello to all my lovely cuties. Also, I didn't... Dana is doing Goblin Up tonight. I was going to be doing Goblin Up tonight. There wasn't enough tickets sold on this one, so I volunteered to drop out because I had a lot of work this week. It is for the best, but I was like, hey, if you're doing this, then I can just do the live premiere. And that's fine. But I realized right before I went live, I was like, you know what? Dana's been doing this for like 3 or 4 months now, and I haven't done it since then. I didn't even think about the fact that I have that like video intro that I made, the sitcom intro. It's not loaded up and ready to go. It's not even part of this. So we're going to have to go without that tonight. What else was I fiddling with? I was going to adjust the zoom, but I don't need to. It's fine. But yeah, hopefully, once I actually try to play the episode, all that stuff is still set up the same way I left it. I literally tested everything, just because I haven't done this in a while. And I wanted to make sure I had all the stuff. I mean, it's still pretty good ticket sales. It's just, you know, someone had to get cut, and I volunteered. I happily leapt on that axe. Yeah, we've only got like 2 minutes and then I'll start the episode. And let me tell you, this is an episode we have been waiting a really long time, well, since we recorded it anyway, to be like, we're so excited to let people hear this one. I don't think any of us have laughed this hard in a long time. It just gets better and better. We really start to one-up each other, and it's just good. Just good. Yeah, this is episode 92, Rebirth. Excuse me. Got some churro-flavored coffee. And please feel free to make notes about any technical issues that are happening during the show. I will do my best to fix them. No guarantees. Yeah, it was just a coffee creamer. I saw it at the store. I was like, churro-flavored? Yeah. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Just a little splosh. I'm usually a hazelnut guy. So it sounds like Zombie's already listened, but this is fine. I mean, there's been a lot in this series, like this season, there was a thing where we all tried to make dolphin noises, but that's a great Q&A for after, because I actually get to do the Q&A this time, and that's exciting. So please think of those questions that you can ask me afterwards. And thank you for gifting a Tier 1 sub to B. Will's Wolf. Be sure to thank your gifters. Hello, Reshpin, and it looks like it's about time. I'm just going to switch over to the episode, and again, if there's anything wrong with, like, the levels or something, just let me know, because, again, everything got reset last minute. Could easily happen. And I'll catch you all at the other end of this episode.
Crown, following their release from Zenithal custody, have been granted special permission by the administration to take on a glory debt to reincarnate their fallen ally.
Going into the glory hole for the homies. Wow, now that's friendship. I'm just surprised the Armistice administration granted the request. He's got a boiling hate on for these cats.
For a hero who lost his life on the job, unheard of. Denial of such a request would bring down the full wrath of the Adventurers Guild, the Mules, and the general public. Besides, they will have to immediately put forth whatever glory they had accumulated before their disappearance. Should they be reinstated, they'll also be paid out for their dream quest and their trip to Eudaimonia, though those scores are not likely to be great.
But what happens if they don't get reinstated? How can they possibly muster the rest of that spirit dosh?
Well, the Battle Axis administration can't prevent local leagues from admitting disgraced players, so that would be the most logical next step. Unfortunately, local leagues pay out glory at a far slower rate.
So wait, the punishment for breaking the rules in the majors is just getting busted down to the minors? That doesn't sound like much of a punishment, Paige.
In truth, the minor leagues don't begin paying out glory until legendary rank. It would technically be easier to toddle around on Able doing odd jobs and assassinations for quintessence, which can be paid in place of glory. But that would put them in violation of the Adventurers Guild Charter and would likely cost them their membership. Plus, singulars are rarely paid in quid.
Wow, you know so much about this stuff.
I was a minor player in a much larger play for many centuries. Thank you for your acknowledgement. It's not often in this line of work to be appreciated for my skills.
Anytime, butthole. You're a face. Your face is like a metal butt. Does that grind your gears, Tin Man?
Eh? Oh, yes, of course. You turgid sculpture of turkey legs and discarded pot roasts.
We'll be back right after these messages, after I've calmed down about, all the hate.
The Aura campus is not a palace. It is a hospital and chapel to all faiths, and all those who have need of care and sanctuary. Even those who revel in murder and spread disease are welcome here. As such, there is no grand cathedral or great hall of Aura, no vast cavernous monuments to man or god. Instead, concentric rings of structures divided through the center horizontally and vertically, an axis of good and evil, trending more neutral towards the center. The innermost structure is administrative. You have already been approved for one reincarnation, and so there is no need to follow the bureaucratic process. Instead, you have been instructed to make your way to building C3G7. As you do so, you realize these designations denote Chaos 3, Good 7, and so, following the axes, the building is easy enough to find. It is adorned with symbols of gods in an unceremonious way, each one given its appropriate space on the pilasters of this brick-and-mortar structure. The doors are tended by a male tiefling cleric in gleaming gold breastplate, with bright blue skin and deep red eyes. A badge in his chest bears the address of the building. Wusha Brinechild, a.k.a. Wusha Brineborn, a.k.a. Wandering Tide, a.k.a. Ra'a Uraiua, from the Onaka tribe of Skanawi.
That's a new one to me.
Is that his name?
Yes or no?
Yes, Wusha, A+, good.
Thank you. Please proceed to the reincarnation chamber 6 on your right. He gestures into the building.
Thank you. Do you tip clerics? I don't... I look at Gaspar.
Maybe not this one.
I don't like the idea of clerics taking money.
I think it depends on the domain. For some, that's how they worship. Displaying his hand.
Yes,
Grasping.
gods of greed or corruption, of course.
The halls bear corkboards with notes and procedures, bulletins and reminders, but nothing grandiose or divine. Just workplace nonsense. Even the room you enter, for Wusha's reincarnation, is dull, with linoleum floors and unadorned wooden cabinets. In the center is a large glass cylinder which runs from floor to ceiling, and there are 4 chairs in front of it for each of you to sit in.
It's a little less grandiose than I expected.
Everywhere we go, they offer us furniture for Wusha. There was a 4th bed in the prison. There's a chair here. Do people not know he's drunk in a bottle right now?
Bottle of bum jum.
Maybe they're just being considerate. It's like he's still with us.
I talk to the jar sometimes.
Oh, I know. I guess we just wait. Mr. Goethe said all the paperwork was done. We just had an appointment time. I will ceremoniously place the bottle on the chair, and just to get it some fresh air, I'll uncork it.
Immediately, the room is filled with the smell of the sea. Fresh salt spray, sand, and rot.
It's like he's still with us. Penelope takes a seat, clutching a hastily drawn picture of Wusha, but with the bottom half of a horse. Just keeping my eyes on option A.
Dreaming of a whoosh tar.
After a few minutes, an acolyte comes in. She has no flesh to speak of. Instead, she is made of some manner of amorphous ochre ooze, which has been poured into a dark blue leather bodysuit. She steps forward. Hello, I am Lejik, and I will be a reincarnation counselor for today.
Hello, Lejik.
And I assume you're the fallow crown?
That which remains, yes.
I see. And this is our candidate? She points to the bottle.
In the foam.
Is that a large enough sample?
We actually don't need remains for a reincarnation.
Dragging around the stinky bottle for no reason.
No, you brought his spirit, and that's what's important.
Oh.
Otherwise, it might have been left where you, lost him.
Is there anything we need to get prepared for? Or?
Well, my purpose here is to make sure all of you are comfortable with, what's happened to your friend. He's died, and he's probably died in a plane that he's not entirely sure where he is. More importantly, he probably isn't in an afterlife that he was ready for. A lot of the time, petitioners can't really bridge planar gaps. And so he's probably in some kind of limbo.
To be fair, any plane he ended up on, he probably would have been a little confused and lost.
True. But more than likely, he doesn't even know what he is anymore. He's probably just floating in the ether.
He was always really bad at limbo.
But great at floating.
Now, I just want you to be prepared for the fact that for him, a lot of time has passed, and he might not be exactly who you remember.
Well, a lot of time has passed for us as well.
I understand that there's a bit of a time dilation between where he died and where we are now.
Correct.
That can be a little bit tricky. For him, it could even be longer because usually dead things experience things slower. So for him, it could be hundreds of years or it could have been 5 minutes. Who knows?
We will steel ourselves for any outcome, but returning our friend is the most important.
Absolutely. And when he comes back alive, it's going to be important that you're there for him. Make sure that you try not to use any terminal or fatal terminology. Try not to suggest that he died, more that he took a break. It might be a good idea to think about it in terms of your friend has come home after a long trip. Sometimes it can be overwhelming to be bombarded with all those feelings. And while you're all probably experiencing a lot of trauma, he probably had just as much, if not more. So don't make it his responsibility to deal with your feelings.
This is great information. Do you perhaps have some kind of pamphlet or brochure that can...
I do. She reaches into her openable clipboard and pulls out a few pamphlets and hands them to you.
So your friend got rezzed.
Now, I understand that you're going to be overcome with feelings as well, and I'm here to support and help you in any way I can. One of the reasons why I do this job is because I'm nice and soft and squishy. So if you want to give me a big old hug, go ahead. You can't hurt me. I don't have bones.
I get out of Penny's way.
I'm in. I just glomp on and just a very long hug.
The leather that she's wearing is nice and soft and supple, but firm enough to hold her into a shape that still feels like a body. So as you squeeze into her, there's definitely a lot of press and give, and she definitely seems to emanate a good solid warmth and comfort, but at no point do you feel like there's any limit to the amount you could squeeze.
Feels like one of those Stretch Armstrong guys.
Lots of squeaky leather noises.
Okay, this is my new top choice.
Well, that's really appreciated, but we'll see. Plasmoids aren't exactly a common option.
You hear wishing for Gusha?
All right, if everybody's ready, we can go ahead and get started. So, what's going to happen is one by one, a series of clerics are going to come in, and they're going to have an option for you to choose from. It should be noted, and be aware of this, you might not say anything you're excited about, but they're going to do their best. These guys aren't people who are tailor-made for you, but they're trying to tailor-make the option for him. So be respectful, be courteous, and understand that these guys are just trying to do their best. All right, here we go. She knocks on the door, and when it opens, a cleric walks in.
The figure that enters lowers its head to make it through the door, and a very sizable feline shape enters. An androgynous red wine face is framed by a braided mane, a massive red sphinx with draconic wings, its body covered in white, swirling, interwoven, almost brocade tattooed lines, and it sits on its hind legs, staring at you with pure white eyes.
I am Tiorex Val, servant of Khalifra, the god of infinite patterns. A follower has come to me, a furbolg from the eastern coastline, dweller of both sand and sea, bones of coral and breath of the gale winds.
And you see a half-giant manifest in the clear tube, a huge head of hair like seaweed hanging down around its shoulders, and more tattoos of the infinite patterns of Khalif Ra. This aquatic furbolg gains shape water and an additional druid cantrip. They know fog, cloud, and create and destroy water as ranger spells, and they gain an additional first-level spell slot and speak with aquatic life at will. So very big spellcastery ranger type. But when I pictured an aquatic furbolg, I just immediately thought of like seaweed hair,
Yeah, awesome.
seaweed beard.
Fucking rad. Do you as characters have any questions for this person?
The bottle gurgles.
Can it talk to all sea life?
Yes.
How, on a scale of 1 to 10, would you rate the huggability?
6.
Final question from me. What does it smell like?
Where the water meets the land.
That's a pretty good improvement, honestly.
Would this form... it wasn't clear if Wusha had suffered some sort of brain trauma in his trials of life. Would this one have perhaps a higher functioning cognitive process?
Probably not. Their mind and soul will be as it once was. Only the vessel shall transform.
How much noise does this thing make?
Just enough.
And so what will Wusha have to do to honor his new god?
These markings are eternal. All who look upon them will see through the veil and the mysteries beyond the cage of their lines.
Well, thank you very much. This has been fantastic. We'll let you know if your vessel's chosen.
Great, I have a 130.
And the Sphinx exit. and not a moment passes before another enters.
You hear it before you see it. The jangling of spurs and heavy steps as a giant, shaggy minotaur walks through the door. At first, it looks like he may have mange or some sort of fur-related problem, but slowly you realize that is just a network of brutal scars across his body. He carries a massive two-handed morning star, shaped like a giant fist covered in spikes, and his curling horns also end in metal caps that are spiked fists. He looks out over the collected fallow crown and says,
"Well, I done heard of you, but I expected something a little more meaty,"
as he punches the wall next to him.
Please refrain from damaging the hospital.
I ain't get told what to do. My name is Magnus Sinix, Bull Praetorian of Rancore, the fixer of fights.
God of punching?
Would you like to see an act of service?
Just getting the bare bones details here.
Oh, you'll get the bones.
You see, Wuxia was very much into kicking things.
What is a kick but a foot punch?
This is a god Wuxia can get behind.
The Minotaur strides around to each one of you and presses a blood-stained coin into your hand and says,
I'll get it back when I kill you later.
Jesus.
Now, our specimen here was a scrappy one. You see, this bastard got surprisingly far in the coffer arenas, down an opponent after opponent, bouncing off the damn walls near impossible to hold down what 'cause his weird skin and all.
He's going to punch the big glass tube, and a frog shows up. A poison dart frog in a humanoid form. Not very big at all, 3 feet if he's lucky, with spots across its yellowed back and a purple stomach to it.
Each and every one of our benefactors that bet against this saw themselves lose, and an embarrassing slurry of tongue and snot. It was up to me to put him down. By God, he gave a fight. I offer you this, glory in a tiny toad package.
The Grung. Wuxia will get a swim speed of 25 feet and can choose a new poison effect by changing diet for 24 hours with his poisonous skin. Also, due to bright colors, at the start of initiative, all beast-type creatures must succeed a DC 12 wisdom save or be frightened.
Inquiries?
Yes, I have one. On a scale from 1 to 10, how deadly would hugging this be?
Is 1 bad for you or good for you?
Well, rating the deadliness, 1 would be good for me, 10 would be deadly for me.
8, 8.5, 8.25. Solid. Last bet.
No further questions from me.
Wuxia is a very specialized style of fighting, involved a lot of not thinking, but heaving forward swiftly. This creature, while clearly built into a very cunning frame, looks like it would be more agile than strong. Is that a fair assessment of its skills?
It's quick. Speedy little bastard. But you'll be surprised how much of a punch that curled up little flipper hand can do.
What is the poison yield on this thing? Can it be harvested?
I ain't never tried to milk a frog before, but I assume you can. I'd say it'd last you a good day if you're willing to scrape his soft bits.
Well, thank you so much. It seems like a fun friend there, little frog man. You have any questions or anything you need to do with us? Anything at all?
I got one thing I need to do.
Okay.
He's going to go in for a swift, faint punch toward the ooze thing. Not actually punch it, but, the hand up threatening, like, oh, I'm going to get you kind of thing.
Her face is intractable.
That's fair.
Because it's a noose.
Well, that's disappointing.
Then he's going to turn around and leave.
What was that? A cool enough creature, but not such a nice guy. All right. Next up, we have...
This cleric is an amorphous, translucent being, vaguely humanoid in form, with no face or other detailed features. They are wearing gold vestments, and as they outstretch one of their limbs, you see a stack of pamphlets travel through its body and emerge from the extended limb.
Lejik's hands are on its face, and it seems very excited.
It is an option.
Hello, skin solids.
Hello.
Just one question. How do you feel about goo?
Holy fuck.
Mixed experience.
Primordus, our slime sovereign, would be happy to bring your companion into the fold and make him one of us. We'd love to have you along on a goo cruise and see what we're all about. Our cruise entertainment right now is a production of the musical Goosies. God is goo.
God damn it.
Did you have a description for us?
While they do conjure something into the liquid, it just looks like more of the liquid, only denser. When your eyes do lay on the form, you see that it seems to shift in shape, sometimes humanoid, sometimes not, and it doesn't seem to have any other discernible organs. This is a plasmoid. Gain proficiency with aether vehicles and immunity to acid rather than resistance. Once per day, they can submerge themselves in water and grow to a size larger, gaining +2 max health per level for 1d6 rounds.
That's so fucking funny.
What are the complications of, let's say, hypothetically, living in an apartment with a pile of wetness?
That's basically what we've been living with. What does this thing eat?
Anything it can catch. And if you have problems with dampness, you might invest in sponges.
Penny's hands still on her cheeks. No questions from me.
Lejik kind of walks up to the other plasmoid, and the two of them seem to gurgle at each other excitedly. There's lots of slapping sounds and weird gurgles and pops and bloops. And then eventually they embrace hands for a moment, and as they do, you see their colors intermingle and they leave some of their color behind.
That's so cute.
Now I'm pregnant.
Can't believe they did it in front of us. Two long, forked, metallic arms turn round the corner of the door and pin themselves towards the frame. Swinging from it is what looks like a pod, a cradle of steel and runes. Nest in it is a rock gnome. Dressed in a very slick suit, hair pulled all the way back and weighted by what you can only assume is machinist grease.
Just run some of this grease
Let's
over
go.
here.
I am Caphenius, executive riveter of Optimus R. God damn it, I'm shaking my headphones off of this. Maybe I am Caphenius, executive riveter of Optimus R, god of borrowed innovation.
Ah, he's the wiggly one.
The last one was the wiggly one.
Yeah.
What does borrowed innovation mean? Does that mean stolen?
I have for you our new model of aquatic soldier. It has been inspired by your most famous aquatic monsters, the Kraken, the Sahagin, the Kelpie. Dual pneumatic hand cannons chambered in 30-millimeter javelins. It has artificially created mithril bearings to withstand the rust that will be created by the sea. In the tube is a shiny, newly crafted, war-forged body, still in plastic wrap. This body will have a 20-foot swim speed. Both arms can shoot javelins, or spears in this case.
You have harpoon cannons on your wrists.
Harpoon cannons on your wrists.
Yeah.
It doubles your spear throwing range and allows you to throw underwater as well. Oh. At which point, Cavinius is going to press a button, have the steel cradle slowly lower down to the floor. Oh, okay, that's much better. Questions?
We've never really worked with an automaton type thing before. How does it feel pain? Does it he feel hunger?
Does it feel love?
To optimize chances of survival, it will feel pain to no one is being harmed. It will feel love so that it will know pain.
Fuck me, Angela.
Wow.
But can it feel soft touch?
There are many packages available for latex coverings. There is shark skin,
That sounds really sanitary.
the Casanova, or beached jellyfish. If softness is your desire, you can visit our workshop and we will develop your desired texture.
Pillow Top Warforge is incredible.
So the new Wusha's actually a sex pod with guns.
Wusha has always been a sex bot.
With guns.
With guns.
So if we design a new outer skin for this, how stealthy can it be? It will fully depend on your friend Wusha. Any mistake is a user error.
Well, thank you. This has been the most interesting one today. Please, in the future, if you're going to be riding any kind of petroleum-fueled equipment, be sure to carry some means of dispersing the smog. This is a no-smoking room.
Oh, I live with it every day. Didn't notice. Goodbye.
You are ridiculous and I love you.
Beautiful.
Well, that's about halfway through. How about we go ahead and take a little quick lunch break and then be back in 20?
I don't know. What would Wusha want?
Definitely lunch.
Fine, you know what I mean.
I'll crumple up some crackers in the bottle like he likes.
That was a close one, my friend.
I don't know if I can keep this up.
We have to. For the fans. For Warren and for Dirk.
Why, though? Who cares if we're buds? We'll be like those early announcers. Kit and Gust. Well, chutzpah and harmony. Kit and Gust at it again.
This isn't the old days. Fans want drama, hostility, and righteous ribbings.
But I hate ribbing you.
And I you. But this is the way it has to be.
For Dirk.
For Dirk. Welcome back to EXPN. I'm... Sarge, what are you doing?
Carbo loading.
On Scry, can't you even pretend to be a professional?
Timing is everything, Paige. If I don't eat 1,600 calories every 2 hours, I could literally waste away. We're talking entire grams of muscle lost. blown away by the cruel winds of fate and late lunches.
A tragedy beyond compare. Gods forbid even a centimeter of your physique be compromised for the sake of airtime.
My thoughts exactly. This is just a quick spot anyway. Let's go to commercial. Oh wow, I'm in this one.
We're about to witness a planar phenomenon, a keyhole between worlds that only marketing can penetrate. Join me as we glimpse into the Adverse.
She's a brilliant young wizard fresh out of the academy. He's a werewolf raised by the church and sworn to protect the city. They're an ancient slumbering void of destruction that's taken the form of a winged child with midnight hair and ivory skin. He's a dwarf who loves beer and fart jokes. She's a deadly Namekian huntress who turns into a kitty cat when she eats bread. And she's a reckless daredevil halfling with blue hair and a gun that she made out of an old fishing boat. Find out what brought them together and how they managed to share a 2-bedroom apartment tonight on a new episode of Party of Six on the Nexus Enterprise.
Hail, you cuties! Good things come to those who mid-roll. We've been so excited for this episode to come out since recording it, because we all had so much fun bringing it to life. I don't think we've laughed this hard around the table in a really long time. This is the kind of laughter we endeavor to bring into your homes when you listen to our podcast. And if you appreciate that, maybe consider joining the Patreon, where you can get a boatload of great D&D rewards, like maps, variant rules, magic items, and more. The highest tiers can make characters to join the Battle Axis, or be mentioned with a legendary mid-roll team. This week, our featured Battle Axis team is the hero rank Dream Squad, the Transient Exiles, with Corey as Thera, Lautus as Azrael Vilnus, Izzy Boshi as Ollie Curious Amaranthus, and Dova Thor as Bartholomew Walson. And of course, our legendary midroll teams are the Twilight Concord, the Ceaseless Horde, and this week's featured team, the Titans Rise, with Christopher Mashburn, Dylan Hoyt, aka Meat Dad, John Reinhardt, and Lizaris. To get a personal message read on the show or for possible advertising opportunities, reach out to admin@slap-studios.com. Follow us at twitch.tv/slap-streams for Monday Night Live premieres of new LUQ episodes with Mistress Dana. Our temporary mailing address is P.O. Box 2511 Southeast Pine Street, Portland, Oregon 97214, if you have anything cool you want to send the cast, which we love to put on social media, as long as it's not homemade food. The night this episode's going live, we'll be at Goblin Up at Wayfinder Brewery running games for our ticket holders. It's going to be a ton of fun, and if you aren't at this one, maybe we'll see you at one of the future events. Stay tuned on our social media for more event information down the road. But that's enough out of me. Let's get you back to the Battle Axis.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Just kidding. I totally did. I'm just being a goofball. My name is Sarge Hardbody, which you definitely knew, because I'm muscle famous. Welcome to the Iron Church, where holiness is swoliness, and we worship gains, girth, and gigapacks. People always ask me, Sarge, how are you so impossibly beefed to the max? You're ripped like a parking ticket and broader than a sunset. Well, the short answer is faith. But the longer and more accurate answer is, I work out 14 of the 19 hours I'm awake. The rest of the time, I'm counting calories, double fisting protein, and stopping by to say hi to all the people smaller than me. Hey, little guy, what's that, a sandwich? Shame on you. But hey, turns out there's more to being strong than having muscles like a big stack of rolled up sleeping bags. That's because the most important muscle to keep you mighty is this one. I'm pointing at my head. It's my brain. It's right here. And that's what I'm talking about. Now, some science people are going to tell you that your brain is mostly fat, but it doesn't have to be. Just get off your cognitive couch and into the mind gym with my new brain beefing program, Biception. Learn to deadlift your doubts, squat away your trauma, bench press your personal issues, and do that rope pulley thingy with your ego. No matter how beefy your bod or swole your soul, you're only as strong as your brain. And mine is basically a fist of red meat and tendons, tough as a deep-fried badger and twice as mad. Sounds cool, right? Well, let's crack open that coconut and crunch some think meat with the power of meditative weight training. It's Biception. Call today, or just bring in some money. No sandals allowed.
you've all decided to take a moment at the commissary. It is a standard issue cafeteria like you would imagine anywhere else. Today is Salisbury steak. You don't know where Salisbury is, but from what you can tell, they have very bad steaks.
This is just a wet hamburger.
Penelope is pushing her food around with her fork and not consuming it.
Sick people come here to get better. And these are the peas they serve?
These are the peas.
We've had some strange and fascinating candidates. Anyone standing out amongst these potential vessels?
I hope there are better ones in the future. I don't think Wusha would want to be a robot.
To be fair, he'd probably have a good time in any body. But I don't know if he'd want to be a pile of goo either.
That's fair. But we could soak it in the water, make it really big, and I could sleep on it.
I feel like thus far the most clear one-to-one similar to what Wusha's used to is that Firbolg. Roughly the same frame, though to be fair it seems to be quite a bit more magical than Wusha's adeptness. Not quite the frontline fighter.
And the frog it's so small.
Yes, I think Usha would be pulling himself to other things.
Plus, he already gets everything around the apartment wet. That would get it wet and poisonous.
And you can't hop with a pickaxe. I'm just assuming he's going to end up losing his leg again.
You finish what of the meal you feel like eating before returning back to C3G7. When you enter, Legic is already waiting. She seems to be putting some kind of nutrient cubes into her face. Well, hello. Good to have you back.
I'm jealous of your lunch.
It's actually really good. The problem is it doesn't really work for people with mouths. I dissolve it into my essence, and I can kind of taste it with my whole body. It's designed by, scientists who are plasmoid.
Cool.
Or I can also eat normal food. Like, if you give me a hamburger, I just eat it. It's just like food. It tastes good, too. I like food.
One more point for the plasmoid with Wusha's preferences.
Anyway, enough about my dietary habits. Are we ready to get going?
Yes. Fingers crossed something fluffy.
I'm excited to go. All right, 1 second. Knock, knock, knock. And through the door.
Hobbling cane first is an old fish man. His scales dull with age, his mouth wide. Like an elderly gentleman, there is a cul-de-sac of white scales reaching from roughly ear to ear and some wiry feelers growing out of it, matching their color. He wears a long robe and holds in one hand a long, thin, white wand. And in the other hand, a curled ear horn.
My fellows, gathered here today, I am Palobath, composer of choral movements. I represent Vothulath, the school concordant, god of harmony, unity, watchfulness, and music.
That's so fucking cute. I want to die.
He picks up the conductor's wand in one hand and taps on the glass with it. Settling into the glass is what could only be called a tropical catfish. Colorful from shoulder to shoulder. About average human height, but broad and wide, with wide-set wall eyes and dangling whiskers on either side of its great big mouth.
This body before you is of an ambitious precautionist who, in the prime of his life, was slain by a beast whose hide would have made the perfect drum. He understands the necessities of timing, of rhythm, and how all things move back and forth to their own cosmic melodies.
So fucking adorable. After so much funny, it's so nice to hear something so sweet.
I love Grandpa Catfish.
What a beautiful presentation.
What?
Puts the ear horn up to his head.
Oh, I I enjoyed your presentation.
What?
You know, it does have Wusha's eyes.
One on each wall.
You must speak loudly. I am hard of hearing. It's important to note that he, like most fish, does not in fact have ears. Just the ear horn is to the side of his head.
Moving my mouth very clearly as I'm looking at him. Is this a strong fighter?
Yes, yes. Though war is not typically our people's purview, he certainly knows how to slap skin.
Because of drumming, yes.
Yes.
I get it.
What is its interaction with alcohol? Can I still drink with my friend?
It likes algae, yes.
Can't get enough of this.
Oh my gosh.
No. Alcohol.
Speak up, young man.
Alcohol.
I don't know him.
Booze. Hooch.
Oh, assorted intoxicants.
Yes, if you want to put it that way.
He had a fondness for him. Often he would go about finding prick. It's what we use to sully our senses. It's a little jab from a blowfish, you see. You say, either I would like prick or I want to get blown.
Thank you.
Wow, I think this is a great place to stop. Thank you so much, sir, and we'll consult you if there's any further questions.
I didn't catch that last bit.
Leave.
Ah, yes. Comport yourselves with music and grace.
All right, always do.
He canes and slaps his way out of the room.
There's an impending drone coming from the hallway before one light little tap, and then the door explodes. The shrapnel washes over you, and bursting through is a hooved, fly-winged, bull-headed demon.
Sick.
I am Kalaka, and I have Spearhead of Ozak, the one who knocks things over.
Oh, Lordy.
Very specific deity. I love it. Wusha loves knocking shit over.
And spears.
Tell me, did your teammate love chaos?
Casually.
He had a knack for finding it wherever he went.
Then he will love it even more. I give to you one of the greatest thieves of life in order. This specimen was blessed with the wings of chaos, destruction, and annoyance.
Oh, no.
It's hard to see anything else through the glass of this tube. When you can finally make sense of the grayscale pattern along the sides of it, you realize that they are feathers. Large, but unmistakably the wings of a seagull. One of the world's most hated avians. Kalaka is going to shake the tube just a little bit. As the wings separate, you catch a glimpse of the most muscular quad, fully defined thigh. Whatever's in this tube is 85% muscle, 10% feathered wing, and 5% stolen food.
It's like that song 85% muscle, 10% food.
100% reason to choose him as your next teammate. This demon will have +3 strength, +1 constitution, and it has wings. Is that how many?
Let me clarify.
The fly
Let me
speed?
clarify. It is technically it is labeled as a demon. It is technically an abyssal tiefling with also the wings of a winged tiefling. It is also the size of a Goliath, and instead of having +2 strength, 1 con, it has +3 strength, 1 con.
Gross.
There's only one problem. Angelo?
Once a long rest, the DM may ask you to make a wisdom saving throw or be compelled to destroy or attack something.
It's just one of those days.
No, it's just once a day.
Yeah, once every day you might be compelled to destroy or attack something.
It's just once every day.
I'm a little speechless. I can't seem to get a good look at its face.
Good. It has stolen your speech from you.
Does one need to have keen awareness and hand-eye coordination to operate wings?
Absolutely not. Just pure intent.
Well, they are the wings of a seabird.
We thought you would like that. We thought it would give us additional points.
I mean, if it can fly, how much noise will it make up there? Will it squawk?
Only at the worst time.
I am calling this thing the Helbatross, just so we're clear.
Absolutely, you should. Wow, thank you so much. This is certainly one to think about. Huh? Never seen that before.
No further questions.
Good. That's great. I'm glad. You can go. I'd say close the door on the way out, but
Kalaka looks for another door. How many doors are in this room?
the hallway has doors in it.
I'm not leaving this room. I'm simply entering another.
As he runs out the broken doorway and through another door.
I like him.
The next cleric is late, suddenly barreling into the room, clutching an attaché overflowing with documents. This elf wears a mustard-colored plaid suit, and his black handlebar mustache matches his slicked-back hair.
Oh, my brain is filled with image.
The 70s fuck elf.
You have no idea. Hey, Bubby! Am I glad to see you? And have I got some good news? See, you got a friend who wants to help you out, and his name is Caucus, king of wishes and homonyms. You got a wish you want fulfilled, and hey, we've got a surplus. I hear your friend here's a real wet one. Well, you want water? You got it. We'll give him fins. We'll give him scales. Heck, we'll even fill him with water at no extra charge. Goggle eyes? Got him. Blowholes? Got him. Whale dick? We'll give him 2. Don't listen to these other guys. With Caucus, you'll get better mileage, less upkeep, and we'll even throw in a water-resistant coating so he'll glide through the sea like a well-greased walrus. So what do you say?
Oh no! You're fucking killing me, Dana.
The image that appears in the tube is clearly a water genasi, but the way that it shifts as he describes the different features that you can add on indicates that it is customizable.
Oh, wet ass Inspector
Computer,
Gadget.
show me whale dicks.
2, please.
2.
This genasi is blessed by a water spirit at birth. Once per long rest, they can summon a water weird for 1d6 rounds. They can also become invisible in water once per long rest. You, not saying anything. What are you looking for? Teeth? More eyes? What, you want more barnacles?
This one's a real salesman.
Your wish, my command, you know?
Why does this one sound so desperate?
We could make Wusha whatever we wanted. What a horrible burden.
The stunned silence this
Yeah.
character evokes
So
speaks volumes.
I agree. Would he want to be a shark or a starfish or an amalgamation of all these things? Would he want tentacles? A tentacle beard? Where do the tentacles attach to?
Well, we're locked in on whale dick. That's happening.
That one's real popular.
For one of the first times in my long life, I am questionless.
What about you, Golden Guns? Anything?
I have no desire to learn more.
We'll have our people call your people?
You got it, Bubby. And hey, I'll even throw in some free manatee nipples. Just tell him I sent you.
As they leave, the room gets classier. Just a little bit.
You can fit so much of your friend in this bad boy.
I'm so sorry about that. They were not on the schedule. That was not intentional. I'm so sorry. The next candidate just didn't show up. Anyway, I think we're ready for our last one.
It was weirdly prepared.
Yeah.
Well, we'll remember that one forever.
She knocks on the wall.
From down the hall, you hear. And a towering figure as wide as it is tall, clearly head to toe made of metal. A mechanical automaton, almost silent in its joints, but thunderous in its steps, wearing bright golden and bronze robes hanging down to its feet. Its head is nothing more but a polished dome, and as it lowers its head and steps into the room, it dramatically pulls open its robes, and in the center of its torso there is a sphere of glass, illuminated with Magitech lights, and in the center of it, a phosphorescent koi fish.
How beautiful.
And as it speaks, the lights glow and retract.
Hi there, I'm Benevel. High Priest of Alclad, the goddess of awakening and epiphanies.
I've had one of those.
We understand you're looking for a new vessel for your dead friend. Anyway. Let's see what we're working with here.
And the fish swims around the bowl a couple times, and a very small shape floats down into the tube and slowly begins to unfold itself. A tiny humanoid bipedal, longish neck, covered in fine blue and gray scales, with a head like an anglerfish. It is a kobold of the deep sea, with a large fin coming off the top of its head and a wide, toothy mouth. As it begins to unfurl, another shape mysteriously appears in the tube as though manifested from the shadows of the liquid. It is an aquatic drake. It seems to swim in tune with this floating kobold, circling around it protectively, moving like an eel in the water.
This is a very strangely evolved deep sea kobold. It's pretty cool, except for its face. We had it kicking around at the warehouse, and we thought maybe, get some use out of it.
This aquatic kobold has an aquatic drake companion as a third-level Drake Warden feature with cold essence. Once per long rest, you can mount the Drake for 1d6 rounds, after which the Drake takes 1 level of exhaustion.
Any questions about this little goofball?
Yes. Are we allowed to have pets at our apartment?
I am not your landlord. I have a real job.
Oh. Very good.
Going once.
Well, is this amphibious or is it deep sea?
The pamphlet says deep sea.
Will there be a bloating problem?
Gives the tube a quick little kick with its boot.
Looks fine to me.
But if we have a quest on land, what does it do?
Oh, it's still mostly kobold. Don't worry about it.
Mostly kobold.
Can you describe the temperament of the drake? Does it have a name? What does it eat?
It is bound entirely to its master. Its mannerisms and will are one with the creatures. It loves jelly beans.
Candy beans.
So do I.
Do we think that a former Goliath would find itself at home in the body of a fishy little dragon man?
How the hell would I know? I'm a goldfish and a robot.
You got like the opposite problem.
I make it work. Very good.
Thank you so much. I have never seen anything like this little goober in my entire life. This is a pleasure.
If you're not going to use it, we're totally going to eat it. So let me know quick.
The petitioners are encouraged not to threaten the bodies of their offering.
I'm sorry, is this your offering? Has it devoted its life to your god? I'll eat whatever priest I want.
Oh no! Maybe it's best you head out.
Sure thing. Got a whole lot of worshippers to eat. See you later. I forgot my robe. Sorry about that. This is awkward. Let me just get that back on here. Could you get that from under my leg there? Thank you. Okay. Deuces.
You two had to come out swinging with those last two, huh?
Lejik steps out the door and gives you all a go-ahead gesture. Minutes pass, then hours. Deliberating, arguing, debating. Some of you crying. But in the end, a decision is made.
It's weird that both of you cried and I didn't.
I haven't been able to cry in such a long time. I always started crying. I was like, wow, I have to do that.
Well, and then I thought I was good, but then you started crying. I was like, if you cry, I'm going to cry. It just got away from us. In the end, we've been ignoring the signs all along. We've known what to do since the beginning. I have this big handful of pamphlets from all of these different clerical representatives, and I clear the chairs out of the room. I set them in a circle, and I spin the bottle.
I can't watch.
It's what he would have wanted.
It's the perfect choice for Wusha. It always has been.
The bottle spins and spins, and when it comes to its stop, you realize it could have been nothing else.
Oh.
Nice.
Of course.
I lift the bottle on high. I take it to the chambered tube and pour the majestic sea foam contents into that wet bath.
So majestic.
Please present Wusha with his choice.
Uh-oh.
As the sea foam bubbles and churns inside the large vat, as the water begins to shift and move, coalesce, and grow around the sea foam itself, grow parts, grow proteins, grow hard floating lumps within the liquid itself. You can see this creature grow from the inside out. Skeleton, organs, musculature, skin, hair, or seaweed. Tangles of it, long and draping across his head, his forearms, his legs, and thankfully spilling down from his stomach toward his knees. As the form begins to solidify, you can see a tidal furbulg looms in the chamber. Its fur clumped together like it's half dried from stepping out of the ocean. Sand perpetually stuck between its big wiggly toes. Braids of thick seaweed moving across its body with the water flowing around it. And intricate, complex tattoos, tessellating patterns across its body. Around its waist and over its shoulders, though, the tattoos are shaped like the ghosts of old chains.
And yet, the foam refuses. The flesh isn't ready. Eyes lock on the three of you. And at first, they are curious. And then, they are panicked. Desperate. Clawing. He slams his hands against the glass, desperately trying to be free. He reaches up towards the latch at the top, trying to climb through, but realizes there's no way out. And as the water fills his lungs, and the blood vessels burst in his eyes, and he screams, grabbing at his throat, and no sound exits, you watch as this man drowns, and sea foam fills his lungs.
My gods.
The water drains. The tube recedes, and Wusha Brineborn opens his eyes.
A hand reaches up and grasps out for something. His eyes are unfocused and not staring at anything.
Penelope freezes as the body reanimates, her heart stopping in her chest. But as soon as she sees its hand reach out, she rushes forward, takes hold of it with both hands.
Wusha draws you in close, steady, slowly, and starts to feel up your arm, the side of your neck, your face.
Bits of fur, skin, got a pair of eyes there.
Is it?
Some horns.
Is it really you?
Ben, I got a question.
She immediately, as soon as you say her name, leaps upon you with all the joy she can muster, throwing her arms around your neck and shoulders. You're back, you're back, you're back, you're back, you're back!
Oh, most of me, yep. Where's Hal? Can I twist his fucking head off?
There's so much to talk about, but the important thing is you're back.
Wusha is going to push himself up, wearing Penny around his neck like a necklace. Putting a hand on her back.
It's good to see you, too.
You immediately notice how different she is from the Pen you remember.
Oh. Hey there, little one. Which one are you?
My name is Penelope Isadora, but I remember everything, Wusha. And in this life or the next, in this plane or the next, I will always be your friend.
The very best.
I'm going to sling an arm around you and pull you in real close and real wet. His eyes finally focusing, looking around the room. He's going to look at Iavos and say,
You're not getting away neither. Come here.
It's good to have you back, Wusha.
It's good to be back.
He kind of goes in like he's moving for a hug, but he's actually like putting his hands on your chest and arm and like feeling and moving around you in a circle.
I'm hairier than I used to be. Am I some sort of sea squatch?
I think it's cute.
Drowning is what made you whole.
I wish I could tell you what it was like to drown over and over again, but there's a way and a method to how I live and how I exist. I think.
My dude, you were this close to being a giant fucking seagull.
I ain't never been a seagull for. That would be... Would I honk?
We'll never know.
Can I honk now?
Probably.
Where's Gasper?
What's up, Wusha? I lost the rest of my body.
Oh, but you turned into a handyman.
I load my crossbow.
Or you try to, but have one strength, so it doesn't quite go.
I missed you so much, you big damn idiot.
I missed you too. But not to cut sweet things short. After an eternity of suffering and dying, does make a man quite hungry.
Well, we're not eating here.
We have many things to discuss, Wusha. But what do you say we go get this big fella some shrimp?
Yes, please.
And not hospital shrimp.
Something's wrong, though. Am I stuck with this stupid fucking voice for the rest of my life?
Forever.
No!
Wuxia reborn into the body of a Firbolg, the fallow crown is once again a complete team.
And what a body. You see that, fella? A pretty sizable step up from the gooey Goliath.
It's a good fit for Wuxia, Tide Baron.
Tide Baron? What, does he rule some reef thief?
Oh, I don't know. I was going for a fallow thing. Fallow, Baron.
What about Tide Bearer? He's like carrying the tide.
Of course you would say that. He's not lifting the tide. He's not doing water squats.
Water squats. Trademark Sarge Hardbody.
Tide Bringer would make more sense.
Maybe breakwater? No, coral spine. Ooh, manemone.
Good God, Sarge. Have you not a creative bone hidden anywhere under all that muscle?
Look, all I've gotten from you is nautical royalty. I don't want to hear it.
Fine. How about Rising Tide?
Wuxia Brimefather, the Rising Tide. Wow.
But the Tide Reborn isn't going to be taking naming cues from the likes of you.
Better than some glorified robo-janitor.
Oh, you muscle jerk. I'll get you.
Not if I get you first.
Nice. Good scream.
Thank you.
That was very good.
Guess who's back?
Oh!
Whoosh is back.
As soon as you handed
He's our
this
friend.
to me, the word sea squatch came into my mind, and I fucking needed to use
Love Sea Squad. We were really deliberated on that. Like it wasn't flavor wise. We ended it as a bottles, but we really wanted to like think about like what the future for Wuxia would be like, what his friends would pick versus what the players would pick.
For audience clarification, while fucking Angelo, fucking Law, and Dana were talking about what Wuxia would become, me and Zach left the room.
Yeah, and we deliberated, weighed all the pros and cons, and yeah.
Can I ask for mine own curiosity's sake what the other one was?
The Helbatross.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was telling you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Between those
Love
two.
It. Love it.
We liked the idea of it being like, you know, a gift for Zach to once a day get to pull the little chaos button.
The break something trick.
And also physically seeing Wuxia flying around throwing javelins would be quite imposing.
It would be very funny.
And we looked at what we've seen in season 2 thus far. We haven't seen anything really demonic, like on the team or in the side story.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So, like that's new.
You've seen angelic. Flip side. However, Wuxia leaning into his more natural form, jumping on that fucking primal magic and shit. Hell yeah, I'm in.
I think the thing that clutched that choice for us, the fact that I can speak with sea animals at will, and the role play for Wuxia talking to the fucking animals.
Right, but then even the spells that are on that list, like it really just deepens your connection to Mother Ocean.
Oh, I'm so fucking excited.
They were
about
all
this.
great choices.
Yeah.
That one
There were no
physically
wrong
is probably the most similar to Goliath, but that wasn't why we chose it.
Absolutely.
I'd like to go around the table, and I wouldn't just want to talk about favorite moments, because it would be nigh impossible to truly narrow it down to our favorite moments. But I want to hear your favorite moment as far as the comedy goes, but I also want to hear what your ideal choice for Wuxia would have been. If nobody else had any say in it, what would you have wanted to go with? Starting with...
All right. Favorite comedy bit?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like going first. I'm always stealing the spotlight.
No, you're just teeing everyone else up.
Yeah. There was I don't know whether or not, Law, you planned it or just realized as you were making the footsteps sounds for the koi fish going away from the room. And I was like, oh, because I was even just going like, oh, look at the perfect volume control as he's like going to different tiers further and further away. And then you did another loud one. I was like, did Law fuck up? No, then became louder. And he's like, oh, I forgot my robe. And I was like, he's right. He said he dropped his robe. So yeah, did you plan that or was it like?
No, that was like, well, he can't just leave. What am I going to? Yeah, I was thinking about doing the Foley of the Doppler moving away. And I was like, well, there's a joke right there, just sitting.
I'm routinely impressed by your attention to detail. It's literally like the thing I am worst at as far as DMing, where I forget all of the little details I've mentioned. And you're so good at just like picking back to one of the things you said like an hour ago. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was good shit. That was good shit.
Yeah. What would your ideal Wuxia have been?
If nothing else, like we're talking.
Nobody else got any say in it.
Yeah. And we're talking like mechanic wise, blah blah blah, story, who the hell cares? Knowing Wuxia as a character, mine would have been the anglerfish kobold.
That's very fair.
I wanted to see him grovel. Like what? Like Wuxia doing that? I don't know. Like, because one, obviously, it's tiny Wuxia, so it's like tiny menace. Dealing with whatever's going on, but also anglerfish kobold. That shit's that's a good.
To be fair, I
aesthetic.
slipped that one. I took maybe a little too much creative control on that one. It just said aquatic kobold, and I was like, that to me sounds like an anglerfish.
That's exactly what you should have done.
And I was like, that's
totally rock solid.
That's such a good choice rather than like just regular eel. So yeah, that's mine.
All of you came in so fucking hot. All of you came in swinging way too hard with your goddamn characters, your clerics pitching their thing. But Dana, I've been waiting so hard for your "Hey, I got a deal" voice, and it came out at literally the perfect moment with the perfect character.
Nailed it.
We have been waiting so long for that stupid little joke to come to fruition, and thank you for picking the most flawless moment to bust it out. Holy fucking shit, that character killed me.
I love salesman characters in role-playing games.
I mean,
Well,
you left
good.
us speechless. Like, genuinely.
That's a hard fucking thing to do. And you turned an option that I wasn't initially very interested in something that I thought was fucking hilarious and perfect. And that's also a hard thing to do. So way to nail that. What the hell? You got it. My perfect Sunday. My character, my choice I would have made if nobody else had any influence and it was just me, was probably the Lokatha. And that sounds like bullshit, I know, because it was one of the ones I presented.
No, it was the best choice.
There was just something about Wuxia being a giant catfish that warmed my heart.
Well, when I say best choice, I don't mean the best choice universally.
Oh, yeah.
I mean just for the fact that it has a +2 strength, +1 constitution. It specifically has like natural armor and all this other. Like it's just a great fucking choice.
Mechanics aside, big catfish speaks to me.
Oh, when you pitched it as a catfish, I was like, oh my god, I love it.
None of these have stats, though. We didn't go off any stat choices.
Correct.
We didn't have that info.
I, however, very much like Furbolg because I still like big chunky characters. They are my favorite.
I will say that for this, you are allowed to choose the new racial legacy stuff. So if you wanted to pick 2 different stats, that's totally fine.
I probably won't because it's fine how it is. But thank you.
It's so tough. Max, remind me your 2 pitches.
My 2 were the punch fight minotaur.
Oh my god!
And something about that. Magnus Senex means big old man in Latin.
Oh, and then you had the
Then I had the grandpa fish.
Okay. Oh fuck, this is hard. I really like the presentation of Grandpa Fish.
Thank you.
Like the things you said were beautiful.
Yeah.
And that was I like that one was such a shake up from all of us just trying to make each other laugh.
But then it was followed by what?
Yes. No, it was a good bit. It was a good bit. But it was like briefly, like it kind of broke the.
It gave us a tension shift. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that character felt like I was playing a Legend of Zelda game. Like I could just see it perfectly.
Yes. The like old conductor fish. Yeah. There was one thing about his personality that never got to come out. And it's that he never repeats himself. If he says something, he never says it again. You guys never asked him to repeat himself or clarify, anything, so he didn't have to.
Sorry, what did you just say? No.
Yeah, exactly. You should have been listening.
Other than him going, what?
Yeah. That's him asking for clarification. And it's a very one-sided character trait.
Love that.
Love it. Gosh, on paper, my favorite is the plasmoid. I just in my head, it's very hard to have Wuxia without a face.
Yeah.
Like that's very hard for me, and so that's part of what I wasn't sure about. I really wanted a big boy. I like the Furbolg, and I also like the catfish.
There were no wrong answers. There are absolutely no wrong answers, despite what fucking Zach says.
Hey,
hilarious.
Boy, for jokes, I feel like it's more like I can't pick a favorite character because they were all so fucking great.
They were so
I mean, the
good.
goo priest, like God is goo.
Yeah.
And just the way you present, like I wasn't expecting it from you, and I was delighted. The line of like, I'm not leaving this room, I'm just going into another one.
Oh, that was
fucking good.
such a good. Oh yeah, like y'all, like your Q&A responses were fucking fire.
Beautiful.
I think my favorite moment was just getting to do another thing where we sit around and improv to make each other bust our fucking asses off.
This was supposed to be half an episode. It ended up being the whole episode.
Yeah, but I mean, part of the great thing though is that none of these are pre-written. We literally just wrote them right before we did them. And then
we like scribbled them down during the last episode.
Yeah. And then it's fun just to go around and make each other laugh.
Agreed.
Can I touch on something about that really quick? I haven't been here for the whole show. I've been here for a good number of episodes. This is the single funniest episode I have been here for the recording.
From my perspective, this is the funniest episode the entirety of the LUQ.
Holy fucking shit.
You four are the funniest fucking bastards, and
thank you.
Made me bust my whole gut several times.
We've laughed a lot in other episodes, but like this one is just the archetype of giggly hoo-ha.
I let
Zach
him
almost passed out.
Yeah, he did almost faint.
You heard
turned
it
red
here.
like a tomato.
You heard it here first, folks. The hashtag for this week is hashtag busted guts.
Hashtag giggly hoo-ha.
Oh, I like that too.
And I went first and started all serious, and I was like, I wish I had thought that I should have known that we would all just fucking fart right into the microphone.
It was a great tone setter though.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you did that, like I for one was like, oh, we're fucking on today. Like,
the flavor of yours was
That's cool as hell.
Oh no, I thought he was cool too. But yeah, if I had to pick, and we like really weighed all the options because there was a lot that really tempted us. Like we talked about how fun the catfish would be, and for me, like some of the smaller ones, it was like a one-time fit payoff. Was like, oh, it's Wuxia, but now he's small, you know. But they were also cool races, which added a lot to it as well. And we also thought, like, well, what would the characters pick? They might want something kind of comfortable for their friend to slide back into. But then the animal talking was so good. But I think for a long time during our deliberation, the Helbatross was pretty high on my list. Because knowing the mechanic of something crazy can happen once a day, and also the idea of Wuxia, like flying at high speed, throwing javelins, and all the food jokes we make in the show, the idea of you being a giant seagull.
It was not intended to be a giant seagull, by the way. It was supposed to be like a glabrezu.
No, giant seagull is a fucking fantastic pivot from that.
And like albatrosses are one of my favorite birds, and that's very Wuxia.
Helbatross is fucking hilarious.
Helbatross is good.
It was a toss-up.
I did have a thing. If you guys pick the frog, I was gonna lean into the "I'm tall but I want to be small" thing because fucking they can climb. So I was gonna be up often.
Oh, that makes sense.
So to start, one of my favorite moments in this was punching Angelo in the chest repeatedly to get
the vibrato.
Okay, I know that for everybody else and for the audience, the funniest things would have been the things people were saying. But the fact that Angelo was like, "I need a vibrato. We're going to do this." And we tried like 6 different ways to get it. And the best one was me walking up and just vibrate arming his fucking diaphragm to the point where he could get that perfect vibrato. It was hilarious.
So fucking
I don't know what that's what I thought. So you know what? I haven't done this before. Let's see if it works on a mic.
That was a bold choice.
It took so much effort not to fucking laugh into your mic while I'm sitting there punching you in the gut.
That was the kind of thing you would never anticipate doing coming into recording that day.
Not at all. Not at all. Fucking, I love it. Max, I absolutely fucking adore your old fish, man. Everything about it. Okay, so I was worried Lakatha was going to be too obvious a choice, but by making him a fucking catfish, it was beautiful. I fucking adored it.
Thank you.
Your goo person was exactly what I needed. And which leads perfectly into my next statement, which is I wanted the plasmoid so fucking bad. I wanted Wuxia not to have a face. In my mind, that was the one that brought him closest to Mother Ocean because he would literally become as seawater.
Oh, that's fair.
That to me was the definition of good. Also, the fact that he gets ethercraft control, which means now suddenly he's proficient in being able to fly a ship in a world that's definitely in that direction. Like the fact that he would get to be a big boy if he wants to by just jumping in some water. Like I wanted that plasmoid so hard. Second choice would have been the kobold because again, it had the Drake Warden feature. And Max mentioned that if he got picked the kobold, he would have just shifted his character entirely to Drake Warden. And I would have loved that. Between those two, huge toss-up. Lakatha was an obvious alternate choice because Fishman, and when you made him a catfish, I fucking loved it. Yeah, I loved rolling a lot of these. When I rolled them up, I genuinely was like, okay, I had a couple of rules. One, it can't be anything just straight up PHB. Two, if it has an aquatic option, it's going to be the aquatic option. And other than that, that's it. So I just rolled 8 and I let you guys play it. I gave each of them something aquatic, a little bit of a bonus to reflect the fact that, you died and I want you to come back with a little bit of a fun reward. And I adore it.
Can I mention something about old Fishman real quick?
Totally.
His name was Palobath, but I had another name written down for him, which is Sebastian.
Well, yeah. Sebastian. I wanted to also say, Law, I fucking loved both of your presentations desperately. The Sphinx and everything about that was so goddamn cool and flavorful. In fact, when you first pitched that Firbolg, I was like, damn, maybe Firbolg isn't the dump choice that I thought it was. And then when literally from the very second you started to the very second you ended, everything about that goddamn koi and the robot was exactly perfect. It was the hardest we've all laughed. Usually when you laugh really hard, you know how you run out of laugh juice and eventually you just can't laugh anymore? We didn't run out. You just drained every ounce that was left and then found more. I could not stop.
The second you just said the Firbolg that I presented, the entire time we were deliberating, I didn't even think about the fact that the Firbolg was one of the characters I described. Didn't even cross my synapses for a moment. You said, like, that was my... Oh, yeah, the seaweed guy. That was mine.
I'll be honest, the two that were lowest on my list were the Firbolg and the Genasi. But again, your two presentations of those two made them so much more tempting that I was like, God, I almost feel like you gotta pick them now.
That's why people pay advertisers.
Yeah,
it's,
right?
like I'm in marketing or something.
Right?
Manatee nipples.
Manatee nipples. This was one of my favorite episodes to record. I had the most fun I've ever had at this table. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of different kinds of fun, but pure comedy, this wins. Thank you guys so much for being here on this journey. I didn't mean for this to be as long as it is, and I definitely didn't mean it to be as funny as it is, and it's certainly through no doing of my own, because I played no role in this comedy.
Hey, your counselor was great.
Thank you.
Your counselor.
Oh
was
yeah,
excellent.
I love that.
You'll notice that I specifically said pick your favorite comedic moment because I didn't want anybody to say the favorite moment was my dumbass counselor because all of you were so good. Anyway, Hediger the Editor, I think we actually did a pretty tight job of keeping this one editable, even if it is an hour 45 by the end of it. Again, no Brie Golden for this one, but she'll be coming back up soon. And until next time, we wish you luck.
I'm back, and I have a pickle puss. Hi, Pickles. What's up, pickle puss? Baby? Yeah, she pickle baby puss. There you go. Bye-bye. Oh, what an episode. Hi, Gil. Yeah, I haven't listened to it at all since we recorded it. We just remembered that this is the one that was coming. Also, I bumped my desk when I picked up Pickles, so my webcam got readjusted. Yeah, like I said, it was supposed to be like maybe 15 minutes to 20 minutes, and it was just like, we can keep going. It was so much fun. It was just fun to improv, for like a whole hour and a half, making each other laugh. So what do we got for questions? I never get to do the Q&A, so I'm like, hey. Sounded like a lot of people were asking about the deliberation process and or the racial presentations or something. If anyone wants to phrase that question for me, I would be delighted to answer it. Okay, so the whole process was when we showed up that day to record, Zach had 8, I believe that's the number, 8 very basic descriptions of, there weren't even descriptions, it was literally just like, aquatic kobold. Here are the racial bonuses, no stats, just like their abilities and stuff. We didn't have any stats to look at, and we gave 2 of them randomly to each of us and said, in the next episode, you're all going to create a cleric representative of a god to sell this, like, not sell, but like to show this body to the players so they have to choose a new body for Wuxia to reincarnate, and it's like a kind of like an auction sort of. And that was it. Like, that's all the prep time we had, was going into an episode, and then immediately we start the next one and had to know them. Like, we had a second to write them down between episodes, but it was very little knowledge time. And he's just like, kind of create their description based on this very vague racial thing. And Max was like, and at the end, I want you all to pick for me. I don't want to have any say in it. Max is such a chaos beast that he thrives on not knowing what's going to come next. And we did a vote, like we did like a 4-tier vote, so we made sure we really covered all the options. And it was really a lot of deliberating, but yeah, we did vote on the Furbolg. And then when we're like, well, how are we going to actually present it? And then I was like, oh, it would be really funny if we spun the bottle, because he's in a bottle, and that's just like perfect for Wuxia. So yeah, that's how we sold it. And he really genuinely would have had a fine time playing any of them. Like, if you asked me at the beginning of the episode, be like, well, the Furbolg doesn't seem like the one we'll pick, but the things we talked about, it just ended up making the most sense. It's a lot better. If I work all day, it's kind of sore at the end of it, but I'd say it's a lot less better. A lot less better. Sorry, I was reading the text while talking. It's probably the best it's been since I heard it. How many whale dicks? I don't know. It depends on whether they're like... Are whale dicks retractable? I assume they have to be. They're not out all the time. So if they're retractable, then you could go maybe like a baker's dozen. And you could probably put them wherever we wanted. Sure, but Wuxia has always had, a ton of room inside of. He's like the TARDIS of corpses. There's always more on the inside than you'd think. Yeah, and I felt almost like bad using this art in the top corner, because it's like such a beautiful drawing of Wuxia that Christopher Mashburn did. And the only reason I feel bad is because like he doesn't look like that anymore. This is Wuxia 1.0. Now we've got Nusha. It really is just a beautiful piece of art. I love it very much. All of his character art that he does for us is so good, because he actually like asks people questions, and it's so good. I mean, it wasn't like a living sacrifice. It was more like in order to infuse the sea foam that was in Wuxia into a body, it had to drown. Like, that's part of the process of making Wuxia who he is. That was my takeaway. I didn't have it in like clear writing, but I feel like I read story beats pretty well and know how Zach works. Sure, yeah, because like Wuxia, like a big part of his story is him having drowned. Which is why he's a bloated corpse full of crabs and stuff. But yeah, the reaction around the table too, like describing the thing that we voted for dying in front of us, it was palpable. And a fun end to like an hour of laughing and then watching someone die. Yeah. Gotta keep it real. We are just wrapping up the premiere. I'm doing the Q&A right now, Barbie World, and welcome in. I'm glad you got to listen earlier and you laughed too, because we've certainly been having a good laugh here. And this is the first time I've listened to it since we recorded it. I wanted to save it. Except for, I go through and monitor the meta and commercials and stuff, because that's the stuff I submit Sunday night. Make sure it all worked out good. So yeah, I mean, and if there's a Q&A from the past too, I mean, I it seems weird to say take advantage of me being here, but no, I mean, I know it's part of my job to keep the show funny, and if I were to play Ayavos too close to the heart, he would probably naturally not joke around as much, but it is a small part of him. But every character should be able to make the audience laugh. That's kind of one of our ideas for making the show, and not shy away from in-character jokes at all, ever, especially if they're good. And I like to tell jokes. I like to have a situational comedy in response to things, and Ayavos is the vessel with which I can do that this season. What was his favorite soup from Eudaimonia? I imagine being Paradise, there's every flavor of soup, but one of Law's favorite soups that he doesn't get to have very often because it's a pain in the ass to make is mulligatawny, and I think that feels like the kind of thing they would have in Eudaimonia, because it has some kind of Greek flavors. I don't know, it's just so exotic. It's wonderful. Mulligatawny. It's like a curried chicken, creamy. Oh, it's wonderful. Hints of cinnamon and clove. And rice, usually. Yeah, you'd accidentally make it in Eudaimonia. You'd be opening the kitchen and then going to the fridge, and some things would fall out and roll across the floor, land in a pot. And then Wingo Bango. Mulligatawny. Saying it like that doesn't mean I think it should be said with an Italian accent, but it sounded funny. I don't actually know what country it's from. I can't remember. It does sound kind of Italian, though. Mulligatawny. I'm not going to Google it while I'm doing a Q&A. You can't make me. But yeah, that whole episode, Pickles was being very, very needy. She would not leave me alone. So I just decided to pick her up partway through because she wanted it. That was a long episode, too. I didn't realize until today that it was going to end up being an hour and 20 minutes. That's pretty long for us. And it's because there was nothing to cut. Everything was good. Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time picturing Sarge too, but I need to preface this with that I absorb a lot of media content unintentionally, just existing on the internet. So there's a lot of things and characters and stuff I know from shows I have never seen or in no way follow, and I'm not ashamed of it or anything. If I did follow it, then I'd probably like it. But there's a show, I think it's called Baki. It's an anime about really big muscle people punching each other to death. And there's a character named Biscuit in the show that I see show up in a lot of memes, and I kind of picture Sarge like him, because his muscles are so ridiculous. And of course, the person who draws Maki's obsessed with muscles, so they have this hyper anatomy fascination that's way over the top. So if you typed in Baki Biscuit, which is a very weird pair of words next to each other, you'd probably see him. He's just the most muscly character I can think of in that show. I think it was a comic first. I don't know. There is a lot of memes of it. Yeah, that's how I imagine Thaj. He's not my voice. And the commercial this time, Zach was super nice because I was like, we recorded all day yesterday, which was awesome. Great episodes. And I was like, I'm so tired. I have to go to a commercial when I get home. And he's like, we've been talking about doing a commercial with Sarge for a while. Why don't you just write it and then I'll record it tomorrow? And I was like, yes, thank you. So yeah, that was a script that I wrote and then Zach got to present as Sarge. I think at the very end of that commercial, you can actually hear Zach laugh when he says no sandals allowed. It's just a funny Jim joke. So his name is Biscuit. I think it's like Biscuit Olivier or Biscuit Olivia. I'm not good with names, but for some reason cartoons stick in my head better than real people. Olivia, okay. See, that makes me want biscuit and olives. It's a weird craving. It's a first for me, for that duo. Oh, beans indeed. But yeah, I'm glad everything worked in this episode considering how stupid that technical issue was. I don't know what it is about this monitor. There's been 2 times that I've switched monitors and it's just like completely shut off that part of my PC's display. In the software, like not just the monitor not working. Anyway, it's weird. And it just so happened right when I clicked the timer button to go live, I was like, oh, I'll just move this out of the way and switch it to this monitor. Didn't go like I thought. And like OBS was still running, but I couldn't access it. I couldn't switch, and it actually locked me out of my display settings to just switch monitors, which would have been easy. So I had to restart my computer real quick, which thankfully is pretty fast with an SSD. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. And as for whether or not these characters will show up again, that's the future. I cannot see into it. And if I could, it would be dumb to share. Or spoilers. Needless to say, everyone at the table loved all of the clerics. They were a lot of fun. And they were all super duper improvised. I think that's what is our favorite thing about them, because we just kept impressing each other to be like, you just thought of that? That's amazing. Yeah. Usually, sometimes Zach will give us like homework in advance for this season. You know, if we need to come with like a short story or some background thing prepared. But this one was in the door. Think of clerics. And I didn't know what the tone was going to be, which is why the very first one was so serious and like poetic. And then everyone else had the better idea of making it funny. So it was between my description of the first character and the last character that I thought of the last character. That was the time frame to design that. Which is hard when you're listening to everyone else go and laughing your ass off at it. So it was a great time. And I would eat the shit out of some rosemary parm biscuits with tapenade. I might go light on the tapenade, but I think it would add a nice little zip. I'm pretty picky with olives, though. Like, there's a lot of olives, like cheap canned black olives. They don't excite me. I'll eat them. I don't care. But they don't... Oh, a number of you had similar themes for clerics. Mechanical brute. Yeah. Yeah, actually, that was a thing, was as soon as Angelo described his mechanical one, I had just started thinking of the idea of something mechanical. And I was like, shit, fuck. So I think that was one of the reasons those got spaced out a little bit. But yeah, like a nice Castle Vetrano and Kalamata blend with like orange zest and spices, kind of served warm, weirdly. Warm olives are a big thing. Yeah, for sure. it really, you know, picked you up and then let you chill for a second and then made you laugh again. I didn't know the goldfish character was going to end up being such a crowd pleaser as far as the table laughter went, because I didn't even know like what his voice was going to be. I was just like, I'll just talk into my hand and see what comes out, and let myself respond to things in the funniest way I could think of. That was my goal. And I'm not sure where that voice came from. He's just kind of shouty. But yeah, that is how improv works. I kind of miss doing it. I used to do some live stuff, and it's been a very long time. I guess I still do if you consider recording. I mean, all I did, I
literally just talked into my hand like this, and it came out kind of shouty. Wow, you guys are, really here, huh?
It would have been silly to put like a modulator on it. That's too much work for Sam. Yeah, of course. Yeah, both of Dana's characters killed me. Like, they were so funny. It's always fun to hear Dana really lean into a character voice. That's always a treat. Oh, it's God! Very good. And the salesman. My favorite thing was, and just to show like how we collaboratively tell jokes together and stuff to set the scenes, which is what makes it such a fun group to work with. It was at the end of that scene after he left, I think, and I was like, Zach, it would be really funny if he wasn't supposed to be here. He just showed up, and Zach was like, oh my God, yes, and wove it in so masterfully. Good stuff. The magic of editing. If we ever have a good joke or something to feed each other, we totally do, and it's great. Yeah, I'll give it a couple more minutes for Q's and A's and stuff, and then we'll take off. And I hope everyone else is having a great time at Goblin Up right now. They're probably starting to wrap up their games, I would imagine. Which probably means they're gonna be heading to their meetup after party bar spot. I don't know if I'll join them. Hell yeah. I'm sure we would have a great time with that. I wonder where Pickles went. Yeah, but then I'd have to shower. Did Iavos get a pamphlet for his book? Oh, I'm sure he fed all the leftovers to Opus. Yeah, it was funny because like me and Zach were both very busy this week. Like, he ran LUQ yesterday, and then we had Goblin Up today where we were both signed up to be DMs. And like last night at like 11:30 p.m. my employee like sent me some notes from the workday, like I was working tomorrow, and I was like, I'm not working on Monday, you are. Check out the schedule. And they were like, oh fuck, oh shit, I scheduled a bunch of school stuff and therapy, and so I thought I was going to be working today, because they couldn't, and I was very upset, and I was like, well, but we knew someone needed to get cut from Goblin Up, and me and Zach had both expressed willingness to volunteer if someone needed to get cut. But Zach was already asleep at 11:30 because he has to get up super early for Monday morning editing. And I was like trying to figure out like, Zach, I'm gonna have to like take this one. Like, I think I'm gonna force myself to like be the one who gets cut because I have to. And yeah, then Zach was fine with it. He's like, no, I need the money. It's cool. Like. And I was like, thank goodness. But then someone else was called to cover it, which was unexpected to me. But I was like, oh, someone needs to do the live premiere because this is such an important episode. So I was like, okay, I'll stay home and do that. And it worked out. But I did think I was going to have to work, which is why I originally wasn't at Goblin Up. But I needed the day off, too, because I've worked a lot, since I fucked up my foot and had to miss a week. Well, thank you. I love doing it. I used to get to do it, but I just work Mondays usually, and Dana's so good at it that there's no reason not to let her have it. And it would be silly to change the day. Monday, it's every fucking Monday. That's the hashtag. That's the schedule. But yeah, I mean, thank you all. You can thank me all you want, but it's me thanking you that matters, because you showed up and interacted and made the Twitch worth having. Yeah, sorry you missed the show, Barbie. But I'm glad you got to listen to the episode. And I'm even gladder that you listened to the episode and then tried to show up to listen anyway. That means a lot, too. But yeah, you all are great. I'll see you very soon on the Discord, probably. And until next time, I wish you luck.